Good morning, golfing fans. Welcome back to the channel, proudly sponsored by betting.co.uk. So it's that time of the week again. We're just here to bring you some golf selections for this week's tournament. We've actually got two events to turn our attentions to in this episode. On the PGA Tour, we've got the Phoenix Open over at TPC Scottsdale. And then on the DP World Tour, we have the Qatar Masters over at Doha Golf Club. And this is actually going to be a really decent week for the golf as far as the spectacle goes anyway, because neither of these courses are going to be massive birdie fest. We should just have a proper, decent display of golf for this week. So hopefully we can have a nice week and perhaps another winner for the channel as well. If you followed last week on my column over on betting.co.uk, or if you're in my group as well, you would of course be aware that we had Wyndham Clark land for us at 60 to 1, and that's actually twice now that Wyndham has won for us. We put him up 2 times, he has won for us twice at 80 to 1 and now at 60 to 1 as well. I mentioned last week that the price was just criminally underrating Wyndham's ability. He was world number 10. Of course, now with the win in the AT&T Pebble Beach, he has actually now gone up to world number 6, and rightly so. I mentioned that the softer the conditions were, the better this was actually going to play out for Wyndham Clark, because he does really play a very strong fade off the tee, but this actually allows him then to be quite aggressive. A lot of the holes at the AT&T Pebble Beach course were left to right. This suits his game very nicely. And of course, even though it was stopped after round 3, he was leading by 1 and of course declared the winner. So that was a nice positive start on the PGA Tour. And then over on the DP World Tour, we also had Sebastian Soderberg place for us at 30 to 1. I think he chipped in on 17 or 18 as well, just to secure that place, just to add a little bit more profit to the season. Now, last year, we actually managed to reach 948 points profit for the season. And so far, we are 4 tournaments in for 2024 and currently on 99.4 points profit. So we're definitely heading in the right direction once again. And we're obviously trying to keep the momentum going for this week as well. Just so you are aware, I will obviously bring you a few selections in this video, but as usual, my full list of selections are in my group, and you can join us by using the link in the description below. Now, the benefits of this, you will also get extra content, previews to the events, and why I fancy my selections in a little bit more detail. But of course, we do also give away free bets, merchandise, and loads of other things just for being part of the group. I'm an ex-tour professional as well, so the experience I've had there seems to be working out quite nicely for us with my selections. And again, the final perk is that you will find that I will only put up half the selections that the majority of golf tipsters are putting up. I've seen online this week that some tipsters have put up 7-8 selections in one event, but then they've covered 4 or 5 other events as well. And it's just not totally feasible, whether you're profitable or not. 7-8 selections in one event is no fun for anybody. You'll get 3 max for myself, 4 when it comes to the majors. And again, at the moment, the profit is still speaking for itself. But again, if you want to come over and join the group, there is a link in the description below. Okay, so we'll start off with the PGA Tour. We've got the Phoenix Open here. I'll bring you both my selections for the Phoenix Open, and then I will bring you one for the DP World Tour as well. My selection, my best bet for the Phoenix Open, it's actually going to be Brian Harman, 50 to 1 each way. Now, he's another player, just like Wyndham last week. The odds are criminally underrating his ability, and he should actually really enjoy this sort of course as well. He's a very solid player from tee to green, and as we saw when he won the Open Championship, he's not phased as well when he gets out there in front. He's a really, really solid player. He has actually played quite well since winning his Open Championship, of course. He's got a really good temperament to go with his game too. And even though he may not tally up or agree with most people due to the stats, I'm not one that necessarily goes into the stats into too much detail. I like to look at the individual's game, perhaps the trajectory of their flight, their wedge play, and see if they're actually suited well to the course. Stats will only show you so much, but I think Brian Harman is absolutely nailed on for this week at 50 to 1 each way. It's a similar scenario to last week when we had Wyndham Clark, because Brian Harman is now currently world number 10. Last week we had Wyndham Clark as the world number 10, and Brian Harman's just a model of consistency. He seems to do it every single week. He's never too far away, and when he finds his A game, the 50-1 is just huge. So again, just like last week, the stats didn't necessarily fit Wyndham Clark, but as far as the game goes, shot shape and all the rest of it, Brian Harman, I think at 50-1 is a really, really good bet each way. Next up, I do also like JT Poston as my other selection for the PGA Tour. Now, he is only 25-1 at the moment, but he's a player that really surprised me in the last 12 months. He's grown a hell of a lot. He's a two-time winner on the PGA Tour as well, and I can see him bagging his third title in the near future. Now, I have put up JT Poston a fair few times in recent weeks, but that is because I can see a big performance coming. He's currently up to world number 37. And he's got 3 top 10s already this season in just 4 events. So I think the 25-1 this week, you can just about take a chance on that. I wouldn't want to be backing him at too much shorter, but he's a player that's going the right way. And I actually think he's good enough to contend in some of the majors this year as well. I think he's just going to continue improving all season. And that, to me, makes JT Poston a big, big danger for this week's event. Of course, you've got Scotty Scheffler in there, who won the event last year with a score of 19 under. His putting's been way off again, though, this season. And I wouldn't like to be taking the chance about him putting that right this week at such a short price. So my 2 selections for the PGA Tour, Brian Harman is my number 1 at 50-1 each way. And then JT Poston, 25-1 each way for selection number 2. Then we move on to the Qatar Masters at Doha Golf Club. Now, this is a par 72 over 7,475 yards. And I've got 2 selections. Again, I will give you 2 actually in this video. And I've got 1 more selection for the list. Again, if you'd like that, come over and join the group chat using the link in the description below. But my best selection for this week on the DPWT Tour is going to be Frederick Lacroix at 28-1 each way. He could hardly be coming into this event in much better form. He's had 3 top 5 finishes, in his last 4, top 5 finishes in his last 5 starts. And he's just a player that's seemingly improving for the experience as well. He's done very, very well on the Challenge Tour. He has now transferred that to the DP World Tour, and he seems to be only going one way. He's very, very good from tee to green, but I've been really impressed by his short game as well. He's absolutely thriving at the moment. Considering we haven't got all of the big names turn up in this event, bar perhaps Rasmus Højgaard, I think this is a really big opportunity for Frederick Lacroix to get his first win on the DP World Tour. My second selection is going to be Antoine Rosner at 25-1. One of my favourite golfers on the circuit, in fact. He was obviously well touted by myself last year. He's got 4 or 5 wins on the DP World Tour already. And again, he is definitely one of the classier players in this field. At the beginning of last season, I actually thought that Antoine Rosner had a decent chance of making the Ryder Cup team. He started the season really well. It did slightly drop off form for the mid-season, but he's slowly been coming back towards the back end of last season, and he's a very, very good player with his short game sticks as well. This sort of course is one where trajectory is key. Both Lacroix and Antoine Rosner have a really nice controlled trajectory when it gets to their wedges and lower, and that's definitely going to be handy for this sort of course. I understand that people are going to be looking for tee to green stats, and okay, you may want that on the long run. But if you're looking at a course like Doha Golf Club, it's all about trajectory. You want to make sure that you're leaving yourself decent putts here to give yourself the opportunity at birdie. So first and foremost, perhaps you actually want someone with really good distance control. And this is where trajectory is important with those wedges, and maybe even up to your 8 and 7 iron, because you want to make sure that that spin is going to be controlled coming into the greens. Lacroix and Rosner, they both have quite high ball flights with their wedge play, but their distance control has been absolutely superb, and they're both going to get plenty of birdie opportunities this week. So 28-1 for Lacroix, Antoine Rosner 25-1. May seem a little bit shorter than some of the odds that I do put up generally, but I think they suit these courses very, very nicely indeed, and could give us a really good run for our money at the same time. Okay, so there's my selections for this week. Again, I have one more for each event. If you click the link in the description below, come over and join the group chat. We give away free bets. We have a fancy golf league, and we'll also do some golf days out through the year as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and obviously drop us a comment with who you fancy for this week's event, and I'll see you all real soon.